So Obama has a book coming out called A Promised Land where he just details basically all kinds of stuff throughout his life in the presidency. There was an interesting excerpt. So he said, I felt quietly angry on his behalf. To protest a man in the final hour of his presidency seemed graceless and unnecessary. More generally, I was troubled by what these last minute protests said about the divisions that were churning across the country and the weakening of whatever boundaries of decorum had once regulated politics. So, what he's talking about here is, I guess he was, riding with George W. Bush, and there were a lot of protests. Like, they were protesting the limo. They were protesting George W. Bush at the end of the presidency, and Obama, being inaugurated. And you can see Obama's comment here is just so incredibly out of touch. It's honestly hilarious because it means he had this elitist mindset before he was even inaugurated into his first term in the presidency. So it really goes to show you what kind of mindset he had. When you're talking about people protesting George W. Bush at that time during the inauguration, you got to remember what time that was, man. That was literally when the crash had hit, the 2008 crash, the greatest recession, since the Great Depression. It was the worst economic situation since the Great Depression. People lost their homes, pretty much everything related to banks, which pretty much everything in people's lives are tied to banks because everything is loans, your home, your car, etc., your jobs. So people are losing their jobs, they were losing their homes, being foreclosed, the economy was dying out, which means there's less jobs. That was also, I think, when people started to kind of turn on the Iraq War as well and started to turn towards these kinds of turn against the tide on these wars as people were dying and it was looking like there was no real end in sight. And so people were really angry because people were dying in Iraq. The economy was completely imploding. Everything was being destroyed. And here Obama saying, oh, so graceless. So what happened to the decorum? What happened to the decorum? People's houses are being foreclosed. They're becoming homeless. They're losing their jobs. The economy is imploding. And you're talking about decorum instead of being like, man, these people are losing their homes. They probably know family members who, perished in Iraq. Instead of having that mindset, your mindset is, oh man, where's the decorum that once regulated politics? It's so disgusting. And it just goes to show you this man is a fake. And he always was a fake. So he faked running as a progressive in 2008, just like he would fake his ideologies to try to, pick up women in college. This guy's entire life has faked his way into everything. He is somebody who is incredibly ambitious. He's incredibly talented. And that's why I'm not really a fan of charisma. Because typically, when somebody is charismatic, it means they're covering up for something. Usually that charisma that comes with somebody is typically compensating for something else. In this case, it's lack of policy or progressivism. He faked his way through. This guy is a fraud. Nobody should ever aspire to be like Barack Obama because he is just a fake. He's such an elitist, out-of-touch elitist is what he is. And he was one before he even stepped foot into the White House. Wow, it's truly unbelievable. And this book really goes to expose him. I don't know if that was what he was going for or not. But at the end of the day, that's really, at the end of the day, what this book does. It just thoroughly exposes him. Wow, what a douche.